Is it visible for everybody?
Yes, sir.
Recording in progress.
Good evening, everyone. In the last session, we discussed about what is NEXUS, why we need to go for NEXUS, and how to work with NEXUS. NEXUS is an open source software and it is free of cost. This NEXUS is used as artifact repository server, guys. It is used to store and retrieve project build artifacts like project jar files, war files, Docker images we can store by using NEXUS. Right. Why we need to store the artifacts in the NEXUS, guys? For the backup purpose. So the current version of the NEXUS we are using, that is 3.x version. So what is the difference between NEXUS repository and GitHub repository? GitHub is a SCM software which is used to store the source code of the project, whereas NEXUS is called artifact repository, which is used to store build artifacts of the project. When we should store project artifact into NEXUS? Once our project build is completed and before going to deploy the project, we will store the artifact into NEXUS. We have done the setup of the NEXUS in the Linux machine by using Docker, and we have created two repositories also in the NEXUS. One is called snapshot repository, another one is called release repository. Okay, so what is the meaning of snapshot repository and release repository? If a project is under development, then that project build artifacts will be stored into snapshot. If a project development already completed and released it to production, then the project build artifacts will be stored into release repository, guys. Okay, so here we are talking about snapshot repository and release repository. I hope you got the clarity. What is the difference between snapshot repository and release repository? Can anyone tell me what is the difference between snapshot repository and release repository, guys? Can anyone tell me the difference between snapshot repository and release repository in the NEXUS?
Snapshot repository is nothing but during the development phase, we release the file as a snapshot, sir, and we store the build artifacts during the and when the file is under deployment process. But when it comes to release repository, when it is released to the production, then we change the snapshot to release, and then we upload the artifacts in release repository, sir.
Right. Good. Next one, we are able to integrate NEXUS repository with our Maven project. So this is a manual process just for our practice purpose to push the artifact into the repository. So we have taken the distribution management. In that we have taken the repository and the snapshot repository. Repository will contain the release details. Snapshot will contain the snapshot details. And the NEXUS server details we configured in the settings.xml file here. Okay. Then we have executed clean deploy goal. When we execute the clean deploy goal, the project build completed, packaging completed, then our project artifact is stored into NEXUS repository based on the version available in the pom.xml. If a version is a snapshot, it will go to the snapshot repository. If the version is released, then it will go to release repository. We have done that practice. And one small topic which is pending in the NEXUS, which is what is remote repository in the NEXUS, guys? What is the remote repository in the NEXUS? So here, remote repositories are used for maintaining shared libraries. What is the purpose of remote repository, guys? Remote repository used for shared libraries. Shared libraries nothing but common jars required for multiple projects in the company. Common jars required for multiple projects in the company are called as shared libraries. So for every company, some shared libraries will be available. In those shared libraries, we are going to those shared libraries will be maintained by using remote repository. For example, so if you take, assume that in our company, assume that we are working in a company. In that company, there are some projects available: application 1, application 2, and application 3. So 3 projects available in the same company. In all these 3 projects, we want to use one library which is common for all the 3 projects. I want to use one library which is common for all the 3 projects. Then what we will do? We will create one remote repository in the Nexus. Okay. In the Nexus, we will create one remote repository, and in that remote repository, we will configure the shared library, and this application will access the remote repository. This application will access the remote repository. This application also will access the remote repository. So when your project is having some common libraries, nothing but some common jar files available for multiple applications. Those common jar files required for multiple applications, we are going to configure in the remote repository. So for every project, some libraries are required. So in a company, we are developing multiple projects. For multiple projects, some common libraries are required. All those common libraries we can keep at one place, that is called remote repository. So do you remember when we discussed about Maven? When we discussed about Maven, then we discussed about a topic called Maven repositories topic. How many of you remember Maven repositories topic, guys? How many of you remember Maven repositories topic? Guys, how many of you remember Maven repositories topic? Maven local repository, Maven central
Yeah, we have
repository,
central
Maven
repository.
remote
Sir.
repository. How many of you remembered that?
Yes, sir.
So what is the meaning of Maven central repository?
In ambient repository, that is a Maven central repository.
All the jar files, all the public jar files will be available in the Maven central repository. People will download. Whenever you download the dependency first time, it will store into local repository. But some jar files are specific to only my company. Only my company projects should use those libraries, not for other company projects. Only within our organization, within our company projects should use these libraries. That's where we are going to use remote repository concept. So what is the purpose of remote repository? Remote repository is used for maintaining shared libraries. Shared libraries is nothing but common jars required for multiple projects in the company. Okay, so then if we want to use few jar files in multiple common jars, use remote repository to store those jars. Those jars are nothing but libraries. If we want to use few jar files, few libraries, few jars are DLLs. For Java, it is jar. For .NET, it is DLL. If we want to use a few jars or DLL files in multiple projects in the company, then we will use remote repository to store those jar files. Those are called libraries. And remote repository is specific to a company projects. So this is specific to only particular company. It is not common for all the projects. Remote repository is specific to company project. Now, how to create a remote repository? How to upload the jar file in the remote repository? So create a remote repository in the Nexus and upload a jar file in the remote repository. So here, so we need to create one remote repository in the Nexus, and we need to upload a jar file in that Nexus repository. So how to do that? Go to repository section, then create a new repository. Then in that repository, you can give the name for that. Then you upload the remote repository. You upload the jar file in the remote repository. So once the jar is uploaded, then it will give you the dependency. You need to take the dependency. You need to configure the dependency in our project. All right. So good. Read the points. What is remote repository and why we need to go for remote repository? Can you please read the points? What is remote repository and why we need to go for remote repository in the Nexus? Come on, guys. Remote repositories are used to maintain shared libraries of our company. Can anyone tell me what is the meaning of shared library? Guys, can anyone tell me what is the meaning of shared library?
Common among different projects.
The jar files which are common for multiple projects are called as shared libraries. The jar files which are common for multiple projects are called as shared libraries. Okay, so let me create one remote repository and let me upload one jar file in the remote repository. So I have started my server. Okay, let me connect with this one by using git bash. Go to git bash, open this git bash. Connect. Docker is available. Yesterday we created NEXUS container. I think it is stopped. ps-a stopped containers. I want to see NEXUS container stopped. Docker start NEXUS. So with this, NEXUS container will be started. NEXUS container will be started. Once this NEXUS container is started, we can access that by using public IP along with its port number. The default port number for the NEXUS is 8081. Port mapping we have done for the 8081. So let me go to, there's a detailed section, take its public IP address, :8081. With this NEXUS repository, I'm going to access.
The container, it seems container has not been started.
Sir, I face the same issue, sir. The
I
reason
also face
your
the same
file system is
issue.
full, sir.
I'm also facing same issue, sir.
Sir,
Yes,
you can put df-h, sir, so that you can see that the file system is full. See, sir. Just to execute the Docker system prune Docker prune system.
I also read the same. Then again started the container and again
Just now, before starting the class, I was facing the same issue, sir. I have done Docker system prune -a.
So you have deleted all the running containers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Docker,
Docker.
Let me remove SonarQube container.
Because if you see the Docker PS also, your process has stopped, sir, actually.
It is status up now, it is running. Yeah, it is started.
Okay, sir.
I just removed the SonarQube container which is in the stopped state, Docker RM SonarQube. So NEXUS container is running. I'm able to access it. NEXUS container is running. I'm able to access it now. Let me log in to the NEXUS. Username is admin. Password admin 123. Admin@123. Sign in. Okay, perfect. So with this, I'm able to log in. If you go to the browse section, my release repository available. Yesterday, I have uploaded that. My snapshot repository available and my release repository is also available. Now, today, I want to create a remote repository. The remote repository is used to maintain shared libraries. Okay. Now, let me go and create the new repository, Maven hosted repository we are creating. So go to the settings, go to the settings option, and let me create the repositories. Okay, so create a new repository, Maven hosted repository I am using. Name, I'm using Ashok IT. remote repo. Good. Version policy, you can give anything, no problem. So here version policy, new repository Maven hosted, anything that is fine. Allow redeploy, that is fine. Click on create repository. So with this Ashok IT remote repository got created. Go to the browse section. So in the Ashok IT remote repository currently no content is available. Okay, in this one currently no content is available. All right. So currently in this repository, we don't have anything, remote repository. Now I want to upload some shared library. I want to upload one shared library. I want to upload one jar file. So let me check. Do I have any jar file in my system? Okay. So in my classes, if you take any Java project, which is having a jar file, I don't have any jar file. So let me create one simple Maven project and let me create a jar for that. Classes. So here, projects, H2DB is available. Let me create one simple Maven project here. Open terminal. Maven is already configured. Let me create one simple Maven project here. So do you remember how to create a Maven projects? Guys, do you remember how to create a Maven project from the command line?
Yes, sir, we have to pass
Maven clean package.
No, I want to create the project. I want to create
Clean
the Maven project directly.
No, sir, we have to pass the artifact ID, group ID, all those items, sir.
Yes. We need to pass the artifact ID and we need to pass the group ID. Okay. So Maven archetype standalone project we are going to create. So here I'm going to use a command. Right. So this is the command. I'm just copying my command from the system. Okay. Using this command, I'm going to create the project. Yeah, a Maven project is creating. Just I want to create a jar file. That's it. I want to upload that jar file. I'm creating a new Maven project. Yes, project is created. You can check that response. So my app is created. Currently there is no target folder. Let me go here and let me compile that. CD space my app. So inside this project currently if you check, nothing available. Now let me build it. MVN clean package. So with this, a jar file will be created in my project. So the same jar file I will upload as a shared library. That jar I want to use in other projects. The package is in progress. Yes, build got success. My app snapshot jar file got created. Perfect. So inside the target, I got one jar. Let me take this jar file. Okay. So here I will keep this a folder called jars. Inside the jars, I'm keeping this. You can rename this jar something like some password utils that jar. Some name I am using for this one. One jar is available. Now let me go to this one and let me go to the browse option. In this browse option, okay, remote repository available. Go to the remote repository. Currently nothing is available. Let's click on upload component, choose the file. So which is jar file you want to upload in the remote repository? Go to this E drive, jars, password, it is a jar file I'm uploading. Okay, so the extension is a .jar for that file. Group ID, this is my company project in.ashok ID. Ashok IT password utils is this one. Version 1.0 release, or I can keep this release as release 1.0. Okay, generate a form, packaging type Okay, that's fine. Generate a POM file with these coordinates. Click on upload. So with this the jar file is uploaded. Password utility jar is uploaded in this project. Now usage here, attributes available here. So this is the dependency of this jar file. So that means whatever the common project is available, that common project jar we have uploaded into our remote repository. So this is called shared library. Whatever the jar that I'm using, that jar file I'm calling as a shared library. So that jar I want to use in the other projects. That jar file I want to use in the other project. So this jar which I have uploaded is called a shared library, which is required for multiple projects. So what I have done here, I have logged in into my Nexus repository. Then I have created one new repository with Maven hosted. I have given the repository name as remote repository. Once we have given the name as a remote repository, once the repository is created, then what I have done? So with these steps, remote repository got created, and I have noted down my remote repository URL also. Okay, so this is my remote repository URL. I can take this remote repository URL from the Nexus. So here, go to this repository section, repositories, remote repository, copy this one. Okay, copy this URL, keep it. This is my remote repository URL, Ashok IT remote repository. Once this remote repository is created, upload a jar file. Upload a jar file. So that is a common jar which is required for multiple projects, which is called as shared library. Any jar which is required for multiple projects, which is called as common jar file. So upload, click on upload component, upload jar file, and give group ID, artifact ID, and version. So the group ID I have given as in.ashok.it, artifact ID I have given as password utils, version I have given as release 1.0. So this is the jar. This is a project that is packaged as a jar file. That jar file is required for other projects. So I have uploaded that jar file in this repository. So once it is uploaded, then you go here. This is the repository. Go to the browse section. In the remote repository, the jar is uploaded, right? The release 1.0 jar is uploaded. So to access that jar file, the dependency available, copy this dependency. So note down dependency of our shared library. Okay, note down, take the dependency details. Take dependency details of uploaded shared library. Whatever the jar file that we have uploaded, that is considered as a dependency now. You note down the information of your dependency details. So what we have done as of now, guys, I have created one remote repository. In that remote repository, I have uploaded one jar file that is called as shared library. For that shared library, one dependency got generated. That is got one shared library. For the shared library, one dependency got generated. Now, this dependency I want to configure in other projects. Okay, so this jar is uploaded. For that jar file, one dependency got generated. That dependency I need to configure in other projects. That dependency we need to configure in the other projects. How we will do that configuration in the? So we need to add the remote repository details in the pom.xml file like below. Whatever the remote repository details available. Okay. So take the dependency details of uploaded shared library and add it as a dependency in project pom.xml file. Okay. So this dependency required in other project. Now go to our actual project, which is 20 DevOps projects, Spring Boot project available. In this project pom.xml, I want to use the shared library. Okay, so already it is using some repositories. Now there are some dependencies available. I want to use Sherwood library as a dependency. Okay. So this is my Sherwood library. I'm using this as a dependency now. So in this project, Spring Boot dependency available, which will come from the central repository. But what about this dependency? This is my private repository. Okay, this will come from my remote repository. How it will come from the remote repository? We need to configure the remote repository details in the pom.xml. How to configure remote repository details in the pom.xml? Like this, we are going to configure the repository details. And the remote repository URL we have to configure. That means I'm telling to Maven to download this dependency from my remote repository. I'm telling to Maven to download this dependency from the NEXUS remote repository. This is the configuration. Two things I have changed in the pom.xml. What are the two things I have changed in the pom.xml? Whatever the dependency Sherwood library available that I configured in my project pom.xml. So here two types of dependencies. So remote repository dependency available, public repository dependency available. So this dependency available in my NEXUS. So this dependency should be downloaded from the NEXUS repository. That is a remote repository. Common jars which are required for multiple projects. Those Sherwood libraries we configured in this remote repository. Once it is done, let me go to my project and let me execute clean package. Let me check whether it is able to download from the NEXUS repository or not. Whatever Sherwood library I have configured, is it able to download that Sherwood library from the NEXUS or not? Let us check it. Clean package. Downloading from the central, it failed. Okay, build failure. Guys, is it downloading from the NEXUS? Whatever the dependency I have added, is it able to download from the NEXUS or it is not able to download from the NEXUS? Our build is a success or our build is failed?
Failed.
Download from central.
It is trying to download from where?
Central repository.
It is trying to download from the central. But the dependency available in the central or the dependency available in the remote?
Dependency available in remote repository.
So in our project pom.xml, I have added Ashok ID dependency, Spring Boot dependency. Spring Boot available in the central. It will download from the central. But what about the Ashok ID dependency? Ashok ID dependency not available in the central. Ashok ID dependency not available in the central. It is available in the remote. But our project able to connect to the remote repository. Our project is not able to connect to the remote repository.
Not able to
connected, sir.
Our project is connected to the remote or not able to connect to the remote?
Not able to connect.
Not able to connect to.
Our project is not able to connect to the remote repository.
Provide the credentials in the server.xml something fine.
Maybe already credentials are configured. Na? Yesterday only we configured the credentials. Okay. So the reason for this is one small setting we need to modify, guys. By default, it is not connecting to the remote repository because of some HTTP mirror blocker issue will be available. Because of some HTTP mirror blocker issue, it is not able to connect to that. Okay. So build is failed, problem encountered. It is not able to download from the remote repository. I configure my remote repository URL. It is correct or not. Check this one. Hosted repository is available. NEXUS repository, remote repository URL. I have given the correct URL. Repositories, remote copy URL. Go to this pom.xml. Yes, URL is correct. Dependency also available. Now let me go to Maven configuration. C program files, Maven conf settings.xml. In the Maven settings.xml, Maven settings.xml contain my NEXUS server details. Mirrors will be available. Maybe here is the problem. Mirror of external HTTP star is available. Let me make it as dummy. Maven default HTTP blocker, mirror of dummy I am making. So blocked true, let me make it as false. By default, it is not allowing me to connect. That's why I have changed this blocked value to the false value. Save this file. It is true available. I change it to false value. Now let me go and clean package. Yes. From where it is downloading, guys?
From remote repository.
Remote
Earlier,
repository.
what it has done, earlier it tried to download from the central repository that was not available, that got failed. Now it is trying to download from the remote repository. Go to projects. This is the project form.xml I have updated. Open the command prompt.
Quick question, sir.
Yes.
If we stop the machine and restart it, the IP of the machine will change, right, sir?
Correct.
So every time we need to change the IP on the URL for
So
everywhere.
in the real time, we don't stop these machines, right?
Oh, yes. For practicing purposes, like a lot of
We need to avoid
places
the
we need to
billing. That's
change.
why we are stopping. In the real time, we don't stop like this.
Don't stop forever.
Sorry?
We don't stop it forever, right?
No. No.
And can we have this Nexus repo in our local, just like we have a GitHub in local repository, in my local machine?
Nexus in the local.
It's
I'm
not
not sure.
worth
I
it.
never tried in the Windows.
But it's not worth it, right, sir? It's just like for the jar or war file. So and also in company, we already have a share file in the company server, right? So what is the difference between the share folder and then the remote repo folder, Nexus folder, sir?
Right, sir. Here the build is failing. The jar was not found during a previous update. Interval of Nexus forced. Okay. Why it is failing? Problem encountered while building the effective model for Java assist.jar. Let me go to my app form.xml. In this form.xml, let me configure them. Dependencies and all. Dependency.
Sir, can we try MV clean deploy, sir?
First of all, I'm trying ambient clean package. Ambient clean. So deleted everything. Ambient clean deploy. It's failing. It is trying to find that in the local only. In the local, it is not. This failure was catched in the local repository, and resolution is not reattempted until the update interval of central has elapsed or updates were forced. I'm just copying this image. Okay, in the local, I think it is cached. Let me delete from the local cache. In the users admin.m2 repository in folder Ashokite. Let me delete it. Yes, let me try. Also, it failed. It's not downloading the jar. Yes, let me delete that and let me recreate it. It's saying dependency not available. Let me delete my remote repository and let me recreate it again. Remote repository available, delete the repository. Yes, I have deleted. Create the repository again. Maven 2 hosted. I'm keeping this as Ashok IT, remote repo, version policy, mixed I'm keeping, layout to strict, blob store default, allow redeploy. Click on create repository. Remote repository created. Let me copy this repository URL. Let me update that URL here. I have updated the jar file. go here, browse. In the remote repository, currently nothing available. Click on upload component, choose the file. This is the password, it is .jar. Extension is .jar. Group ID, I'm giving artifact ID password, version 1.0. Okay, packaging type is jar. Click on upload. The form is submitted. Then this is the jar we have uploaded.
Sir, the jar you uploaded, is it available in your local machine only?
Yes, sir. I created with Maven project. I created the jar file.
Okay.
This is the dependency I have added. This is the dependency. Let me do the Maven build. Basically, it should download from the remote repository. Could not resolve the dependency for project release. In the Nexus, it is not able to find it.
So have you the XML settings.xml file in your M2 folder in local?
No need to do anything here, sir. Just already we configured the server credentials. Yesterday only we configured it. Today, mirror settings I updated to false, so that's not an issue. It is saying that dependency is not available.
So, but the error shows it is trying to download from central repository, sir. Not remote.
No, first in the local it is crashed. Let me delete from the local. Then when I use MVM clean package, it is trying to download from the Nexus only, but it is saying it is not available in the Nexus.
Before the build failure, you can see that it is trying to
No,
download.
first it is trying to download from here, and as it is not able to find here, then it is trying to download from the central. First it is trying in the remote, it is not able to find that in the remote, that's why it is trying in the central. But repository is available, jar is uploaded. Something we are missing.
Class of the money, yeah, another one.
It is working, sir.
Guys, when I'm uploading the jar file, I have done a small mistake. When I'm uploading the jar file, extension I have given as .jar. I should give as just jar. So that was the mistake. Now it is working. It is able to download the jar file from the remote repository. If you see, earlier a lot of time it is failed, and now when I execute mvn clean package, here I have executed mvn clean package. Now you can see the message. It is downloading from the remote repository. So when you are uploading the jar file, give the extension as just jar. I have given the extension as a .jar. That's why it was not able to find out the jar file whatever we have given. Okay. Fine. So with this our build got success. So we are able to download the jar file from our. Observe the steps that we are following here. How to work with remote repository in the Nexus. So to work with remote repository, first we understood what is remote repository. Remote repository used for maintaining shared libraries. Nothing but some common jar files which are required for multiple projects in the company. We are going to maintain as the shared libraries. So those shared libraries we are going to maintain in the remote repository. Okay, guys. Good. Then next one, for every company, some remote repository will be available. In that remote repository, shared libraries we are going to upload. So I have created one remote repository here, and I have uploaded one jar file in the remote repository. So go to browse section, select remote repository. By default it is empty. Click on the upload component, upload the jar file, and give group ID, artifact ID, and version. So this is the information. So when you are uploading, what is the mistake that I have done is here when I'm going to upload this component, here extension. Earlier I have given as a .jar. Extension we should give as just jar. Okay, give the extension as a jar. Okay, give extension as jar. Give extension as jar. Okay, group ID, artifact ID, and version, whatever you want, you can give. And below here, if you observe, generate POM file, packaging type also I have given as POM. Select generate POM file, select generate POM file, and give package type as POM. That's it. So these are the settings I have done. With this, my jar file is uploaded in the shared library. Once that jar is uploaded, take the details of the shared library and add it as a dependency in the project pom.xml file like below. Once you add this, we need to add the remote repository details in the pom.xml file. We need to add the remote repository details in the pom.xml file above dependency tag. Whatever the remote repository we created, our Maven project having some shared library in the remote repository which is available. So to download that dependency from the remote repository, we need to configure the remote repository server information here. So that is the point. Remote repository details we need to configure. Once it is done, you go and execute MVN clean package. Suppose if you get some HTTP blocker issue, so you need to go to your Maven settings.xml file. In that mirror section will have HTTP blocker. So by default blocked is true. I updated that blocked as false value. So if you see my Maven settings.xml, blocked information will be available as true by default. I have changed that value to the false value. Then we are able to download the dependency from Maven remote repository to our local. Okay. So with this, we understood what is NEXUS and how we need to work with the NEXUS repository in the project. As of now, NEXUS we have used manually. NEXUS we have used manually. Nothing but we installed NEXUS and we are creating the repositories. We are uploading the jar files to the NEXUS manually. But in the real time, automation will be available. This NEXUS will be configured in the Jenkins pipeline. This NEXUS will be configured in the Jenkins pipeline. Are you able to follow me? Currently, we have done the manual process. This will be automated in the real time. So what we have learned in the NEXUS as of now. So we discussed about what is the NEXUS, okay, why NEXUS, how to set up NEXUS server in Linux. Can you come and read these points? What is NEXUS? Why we need to go for NEXUS? How to set up NEXUS server in the Linux? How to create the repositories in the NEXUS? Basically, how to create the snapshot repository, how to create the release repository, how to upload build artifacts to the NEXUS repository manually we have done. And next one, we discussed about what are shared libraries, and we discussed about how to create a remote repository, and we discussed how to upload the shared libraries to remote repository, how to configure remote repository details in the pom.xml file also we have seen. Are you clear with all these concepts, guys? Are you clear with all these concepts? Anybody having any questions on the NEXUS? We will use this NEXUS in the Jenkins pipeline. Once we go for the projects concept in the DevOps, at that time we will integrate all these tools in the Jenkins. All right, perfect. Good, guys. So with this, what are the DevOps tools we have covered so far? What are the DevOps tools we covered so far? What are the DevOps tools we covered so far? Come on, guys. Can anyone speak out? Let me unmute. Okay. Yeah. What are the DevOps tools we covered so far?
Terraform, sir.
We covered Maven. Okay. It is a build tool. We covered GitHub and Bitbucket also, which is for version control for software configuration management. Then we discussed about Tomcat, which is a web server. Okay. And we discussed about Docker, which is for containerization. We discussed about Kubernetes, which is used for orchestration. We discussed about Jenkins, which is for CI/CD, and we discussed about Grafana and Prometheus. Those are used for monitoring purpose. And we discussed about EFK stack, which is used for log monitoring. And we discussed about SonarQube, which is used for code review. And we discussed about NEXUS, which is for Artifactory server. Okay, so these are the tools we covered so far for 20 DevOps people as well as for 18 DevOps people. Okay, so and extra for 18 DevOps people, I covered Terraform and I covered Ansible also. I covered Terraform and I covered Ansible also. Okay, now, so good guys. So these are the DevOps tools we discussed as of now in our course. Maven we are using as a build tool. Then we are going to use GitHub and Bitbucket. They are used for version control. And we discussed about Tomcat server. This Tomcat server we are using as a web server, which is used to run the web application. And we used Docker, which is used for containerization. And we used Kubernetes, which is used for orchestration purpose. And we used Jenkins, which is for CI/CD. Then Grafana Prometheus, we used it for monitoring purpose. EFK stack, we used it for our logs aggregation, multiple application log files we need to monitor. For that, we are using this EFK stack. SonarQube for code review. NEXUS, we use it for uploading the artifacts into NEXUS repository. Okay, fine guys. Now, let me give you an update. So here guys, from Monday onwards, for 20 DevOps people, AWS will start from 24th July at 6 p.m. Okay, for 20 DevOps people, AWS will start from 24th July at 6 p.m. After AWS is completed, then our project sessions will be available. And for 18 DevOps people, project session, project and interview guidance, project plus interview guidance session will start from Monday. Okay, as of now we learned all the tools separately, right? Now we need to integrate all the tools and we need to build a couple of projects and we need to understand how to prepare our resume and all that stuff. Some Jira tool, Trivi tool is pending. Those things also we are going to discuss from Monday. So here for 20 DevOps people, let me complete. For 20 DevOps people, there is no session from Monday at 8 p.m. IST. So 20 DevOps full stack people will attend Linux admin at 8 p.m. and AWS class will attend at 6 p.m. from the 24th July. From Monday, 8 p.m. class will be available for 18 DevOps people. In that batch, we are going to discuss about the project's implementation. We will discuss about the interview guidance. For 20 DevOps people, once AWS is completed, then our project sessions and resume preparation interview guidance will be available. That is the plan from next Monday. Is it clear?
21st, 92 days, 19, right?
Sorry?
So 22nd, 23rd, 20 DevOps people are not having any classes?
No, sir, no class. So this is for your practice. Whatever the DevOps tools are completed, you can practice. So directly AWS will be starting from 24th. From Wednesday, AWS is going to start for us.
And
sir, how long is this going to be, this schedule? How long is this going to be continued? For 20 DevOps people.
You are from which batch?
20 DevOps, sir.
You are 20 DevOps. 1 month AWS classes will be available. After AWS is completed, then Terraform, Ansible, then project session will be available for you. Next 45 days will be there to complete that. Next 45 days to 2 months.
Ashok, see, the DevOps total tools that we listed out are 15. So
Correct.
till now we have completed 10.
Yes.
So what and all the 5 tools that is Terraform,
Ansible, Privy, Jira. Okay.
And this one.
Here I combined GitHub Bitbucket. I combined as one. Here Grafana Prometheus I combined as one.
Got it. ELK. We can take ELK or EFK.
Yes, correct. It is already there. It is mentioned.
So got it. So total 15 got covered.
Yeah, right.
The EFK stack and our customized code you have said that you will.
Your voice is not audible, sir. Can you speak loudly? Can you speak loudly? Your voice is not audible for me.
Hi, sir.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, actually, some few of the tools is pending, like ingress controller and all that stuff is pending.
Yes, sir. When I'm explaining the project, I told you in the project sessions, I'm going to cover the Kubernetes pending topics.
And one
I'm
more
going
thing.
to integrate all the tools in the project pending topics. I will explain.
Okay.
Ingress controller is there. Readiness, liveness, prop concept is available. Okay, taints concept is available. I remember those.
Okay, one more thing is also there, sir. Actually, I joined this 18 DevOps in month of November. So I got the recorded session.
Okay.
But the projects, like whatever you will tell next. So I don't have
Your voice is not louder, sir. Can you speak loudly?
Yeah, now it is coming perfectly.
Yeah, it's audible now.
So actually, I purchased this whole 18 DevOps session
18 DevOps.
In month of November last year.
Okay.
So I think you have already completed this 18 DevOps, right? So the problem is like I have all the recorded session, but the project and this one I don't have.
Project
so when
we have not started, sir. Project we are going to start from Monday. That is what for 18 DevOps people. Project will be starting from Monday.
No, 1 minute. So when you will start the project and all the stuff, so will you provide the recorded session?
Yes, sir. Every day recorded will be uploaded. Yes.
No, for us, because it's a 20 DevOps thing, sir. That's why I am asking.
Sir, when you are 20 DevOps person, for you when the AWS is completed, then for you project classes will be conducted.
No. You did not understand. I have purchased the 18 DevOps thing. So will you upload the project?
We will upload that, sir. If you have access for 18 DevOps, in that you will get the videos. No problem. We will upload this.
That's the thing I was.
Yeah, you will get it. I got your scenario now. Yes.
What about 20 Docker Kubernetes Jenkins test? That means completed.
Sorry, can you come again, sir?
What about 20 Docker Kubernetes
Okay, you
Jenkins?
are from 20 Docker Kubernetes batch. So for you people, the integration part will be available. You guys can join with the 18 DevOps people from Monday.
Yeah, okay.
So from Monday, for 20 DevOps people, class will not be there. For them, AWS will be starting from there. And from Monday, the people who are from the 20 DevOps full stack, they have the Linux admin classes from Monday at 8 p.m. 6 p.m. AWS will start from the 24th of July. 2 days break is there. They can go with the practice.
Hello, sir.
Sir, yes. Tuesday onwards class will be available.
Sir, Python scripting class also there for 6 p.m. sir.
I will check with that, sir. I will check with that. So if it is required, we can stop the Python scripting for a few days.
Sir, 8 o'clock batch as usual will continue, right?
You are which batch, sir?
20 DevOps.
So for you, 8 o'clock batch is not there from Monday. From tomorrow, it is not there for you.
Then the syllabus is completed, sir.
AWS, whatever the DevOps tools are completed, whatever is pending, that is AWS is pending. After AWS, projects are pending. Terraform and Ansible is pending. That we will cover in the 6 o'clock time only.
Okay.
You got my point.
Spring Boot, Ashok?
Yeah.
Spring Boot microservices, the last 5 classes. After that, how many classes got over?
I think 7 classes completed as of now.
Okay.
Sir, little topics are pending, in this.
What yes, about sir, that is what I'm telling you. Whatever the topics are there in the project integrations, I'm going to cover. The topics which are pending is in the Kubernetes, 2 to 3 topics are pending.
Terraform also some
Like Vault, Terraform,
Yeah,
Vault.
only Vault concept is pending in the Terraform. I will cover that in the project.
Sir, Tuesday
Recording
onward.
stopped.
Yes. Yeah, I will send the message in the group, sir. So I hope we got the clarity. What I mean to say is, so we completed these DevOps tools for both 18 DevOps people and 20 DevOps people. And for 18 DevOps people, Terraform Ansible also completed. For them, project will be starting from Monday. So tomorrow and day after tomorrow, they don't have class. They will go with the practice of these things. Monday, we will start the project session for the 18 DevOps people. For 20 DevOps people, there is no 8 p.m. batch from tomorrow. They will have 6 p.m. batch from 24th July. For them, AWS will start. After AWS completed, they will have Terraform, Ansible, and the projects, including the pending topics available in the Kubernetes. Okay, I hope this is clear. I will send these messages in the group.
But
so
20 Docker, sir?
Yeah, they will attend with the 18 DevOps for the projects from Monday. 18 DevOps plus 20 Docker people will attend this 8 p.m. batch.
8 p.m., sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, for 18 DevOps people, you need to cover the Route 53 and that
Yes, sir, I
DynamoDB.
will cover. I remember that, sir. Route 53 service for domain mapping. Correct.
As a DynamoDB also, sir.
Yeah, that will take just 10 minutes of time.
Sir, Wednesday meeting.
People, Python scripting classes is running.
How many of you are attending those classes?
10 members.
Okay, we'll check that, sir. We'll plan the Python scripting in a different time.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Sir, we request you to have another faculty, sir.
You are not able to understand the Python scripting?
It is, becoming difficult, sir.
Difficult.
Me too, sir. Me too.
Okay. Sure, sir. We'll work on that.
Yeah, please look into this, sir.
Sure, sir.
Another trainer we want, sir.
Sure, sir. We'll check on that.
Okay, sir. Fine, sir.
Okay.
Someone is teaching well. The Python scripting is teaching very well. I don't know what is the complaint.
Yeah, so some people are saying they're good with understanding. Some people are saying he's not good. I don't know.
So everything is that everyone expects every trainer like you only. So how it is
maybe
possible?
once you attend my class, so when you go for other faculty, little difficult will be there, sir. You have to adjust because everyone, I can't teach like other person cannot teach like me. Everybody will have their own style, so you need to adapt that.
But your style is the best.
Thank you, sir.
Best thing about you also is you slowly go through the course and you repeatedly
Yeah, I will inject the concept into the student brain, maybe.
and that's
Sir, same like you has teaching Python scripting class also we need it same like sir.
Sir, I told you na, one faculty cannot teach like other faculty. So I can't teach like him, he can't teach like me.
True, sir, true.
Yeah. So we can't copy others, right? Everybody will have their own style.
Injection.
I can't teach like him, he can't teach like me. So everybody will have their own style. So you are habituated to my classes from last 2 to 3 months. So when the different trainer is speaking, so you are not comfortable with that. Slowly, you have to understand that.
But everyone is known your name only, right? You are the viral person in every company.
Now when people are going to the interview with the resume, by looking at the resume, they are identifying you are from Ashok IT. Same projects people are
You are like Spring's.
Sir, if available, please set up another trainer for Python scripting class.
So first you attend these classes and you practice it. If you are not able to understand, you can attend one more time with the other faculty. No problem. You are so I will give you the access for another Python batch also.
Okay, sir. Fine, sir.
Okay. Good guys. Thank you. Good night. I will send the update in the WhatsApp group.
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir.
I getting error, sir. Connection.
Where? Nexus wala?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Share your screen, sir. We will check it.
Shall I share, sir?
Yes, you can.
Sir, sometimes interviewer is also from the Ashok IT student.
Yes. Yes.
It is true.
Yeah. Mahesh, show me what is the issue you are facing.
Sir, here I am getting errors.
Docker start Nexus. Nexus started. Docker PS. Up 3 seconds ago, 8081. Okay, go there. Access that. Enable port number. Check the security group.
I did it, sir, already.
8081 enabled. Okay, access that IP address.
Wait. 1 minute.
Okay, so it's the same issue I was also getting, like not able to access. So I deleted
I'm also getting the
everything.
same issue, sir.
Do one
I-
thing. Go to that
Container was
machine.
not started still, I think. That's
Go to that machine. Can you execute Docker logs Nexus? Docker logs Nexus. Give the container name. Yeah.
Sir, there is an exception, sir.
Yeah.
Can you please
Scroll up. Scroll up. It is stopped. The Nexus is stopped. Go up. You need to see there is an error. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Scroll down. There is a problem.
Sir, it's a storage issue, sir. As I said, I also face the same issue, sir.
Yeah, man, do one thing. Scroll down. Control C.
Control C, sir.
Yeah, press Control C. Then stop that container. Docker stop Nexus.
Yes,
Docker system prune -a. Docker system prune -a. Yes. Enter. Y. Yes. Now, okay, it is cleared. Now do one thing. Let's run the Docker container for Nexus again. Now it is not work. You need to do that from starting. Go to the document, take that command.
Okay.
Docker run command is there, no? Above one. Yes, this one. Yeah, copy that. Yes, it will download the fresh image. As we are using Sonar and Nexus in the same machine, we are facing this problem. Guys, I suggest you to take it to different machines. Don't use single machine.
Exactly, sir. This was that's what
This is the problem.
Sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Now you can follow the process. So don't keep Sonar and Nexus in a single machine because we are facing a lot of issues.
Okay, sir.
Sir, one thing, sir, I was using like a previous Jenkins server that was Ubuntu server. So the code git repo commands you have given, that's for Linux, right?
So
So
voice is not clear for me, sir.
Yeah, hi sir.
Yeah,
Is it
hello.
audible now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I was using Ubuntu server. So I was not using Ubuntu. So the git commands you have given, it is for Linux, right? So when I went for Ubuntu server, then that yum command is replaced by apt command, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But
Sir, for how to do the Docker setup in the Ubuntu or Amazon Linux, if you see in the DevOps documents Git repo, I have given, open the Docker setup command, Docker setup document. In that I have given how to install Docker in the Ubuntu as well as how to install Docker in the Amazon Linux also.
no, I sorted out the issue, but it is saying that Docker replaces Docker by VM Docker. So when I googled it, that it is I found that Docker is renamed like VM Docker.
It is working for us now. Why you are facing the issue?
Yes, sir. Sir, it is working, sir. Thank you, sir.
Swadesh, I did not understand your issue.
I am also getting confused. So like when
You are not able to install the Docker.
No, I installed Docker. In Ubuntu machine I faced the difficulty. So in Linux machine, it worked fine.
In the Amazon Linux, it is working fine. In the Ubuntu machine, it is not working.
Yeah, it was not working. Like
Yeah, because I have the commands which I have given in the document based on the Amazon Linux, not based on the Ubuntu.
no, we just need to replace that small.
Not just replacing, sir. No, if you just change the package name, it will not work. Package names also going to be different.
Like we just need to. I thought we just need to
No.
yum
That is a
update
mistake.
to apt
No.
update.
No.
It is not like that.
No. Package name be different.
Yeah, sometimes it changes.
Yes, package name also will change from distribution to distribution. That's why you are facing the issue.
Okay. Got your point. And one small thing, sir, in that form.xml file, distribution management file, in ID we have mentioned ID as a nexus, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So just small doubt. So ID nexus it is. I just forgot something like using
You can
nexus.
keep any
That is
name,
why.
but it should be same. Whatever the ID you are keeping in the form.xml, same
Yeah.
ID you need to keep in the Maven settings.xml also when you are configuring the credentials. ID should be same in the both places.
Got you. Thank you.
Sir, one last question if you have time.
Yes, sir, please.
I was trying to fork the repository, but I only get the master branch, not the develop branch. So is there a way to get both the branches while forking?
Whenever you fork, I think it should give all the branches.
It was only doing the master.
Let me check once. I will check it and I will let you know.
Okay, sir.
Fine, guys, good. Thank you. I will send you a message regarding the next class update. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Good night.
Thank you. Good night. Happy weekend.